You know, for the past 2 weeks, my battery for the truck was slow starting. A couple days it cranked over real slow, but I thought because maybe I left the light on, and then yesterday at work started up, seemed a little slow, but then the battery voltage is 14.12. That's fine when I start it up. So it just figures that it's right when I'm getting ready to take a long trip. I had this truck for 2 years, no problem at all, and all of a sudden now it wants to slowly start. And here's the other ironic thing about it, is I was listening to Paul Begley like 3 or 4 days ago, and he was talking about, I have the timestamp somewhere, he was talking about his son has a Dodge Ram and something about a battery and couldn't even find, it's like you order a battery, you can't even find one. I don't know, he must have known that I need a battery, because I was wondering, was it, I Googled it, it could be the starter, it could be the alternator, it could be the battery. Great. How lovely. So this morning I started up, it's like, and then it cranks over. But then when it cranks over, if the battery is still charging, then apparently the alternator is still good. And I think you can test it by, well, I heard it's not really a good thing to do, but I've done it before and it's never did anything wrong. You take the battery terminal off when the vehicle started, and then if it shuts down, then the alternator's beat. So yeah, go figure. Today's Thursday. I plan on leaving Monday night or Tuesday morning to get there by election day. So Jezebel, let's think about this for a minute. Jezebel has to be the way this all is playing out right now, Jezebel has to be a higher YouTube channel that has at least can get like at least 1,000 likes, like not just 1,000 views, 1,000 likes. You would have to get at least 1,000 likes, because that would be 1,000 of her lords. Just like Belshazzar. You see, King Neb was told in the beginning, all these kingdoms are going to come. It's not like he didn't know. It's just Daniel was telling him which kingdoms were coming after you, and then here's this kingdom, and then another kingdom, and then the last one. And Belshazzar was like that evil king that was getting ready to get replaced, and the writing was on the wall for him, because he was having a party for 1,000 of his lords, just like Jezebel. Knowing the male-female system, Belshazzar, and Jezebel, I've concluded they're the same person. One of them is male, the other one's female. Even though the person itself is a mixture of both. But on the YouTube platform, obviously Belshazzar is the one that also his father, King Nebuchadnezzar, was, well, Daniel told him, he said, or wait a minute, was it Daniel that said it? Your father, or was it his woman, his wife, that said, there's a man in the kingdom that your father would turn to for dreams and visions. Kind of like doubting Thomas in the end, really, like the last one, because it's like dealing with King Neb, and then him having a son being Belshazzar, or even a grandson. I think it was like either father or grandfather, because there's Nabonidus, like the knob. Pet goat 2 at the very beginning of the video, the knob shows you the knob and the you know, something wrapped around it, and then the pet goat that pops out of the box. That's the dick in the box. The Saturday Night Live episode with Justin Timberlake when he did that, the dick in the box, which is the same as the you were wondering what was in the Pulp Fiction, the suitcase, the golden measure ratio. That's what it was. It was some kind of a rolled up dick in the box. And then just the same way in the movie I, Robot, or I think it's I, Robot, with Will Smith, when he opens up the Converse box, it's all the same. So Jezebel takes her death all the way to the very bitter end with pride, but then the same thing that very night when Belshazzar was saying that he can, anybody that can interpret the dream will be third in charge and have a gold chain around his neck. But that's the thing with Daniel representing the Christ spirit. Daniel told Jezebel, or Belshazzar, Jezebel, the god, the Baal god, told her to keep it, keep the gifts, just keep it, give it to somebody else. But they apparently they still gave him the chain and the robe, just like they dressed Christ up in a purple robe, because what they were trying to do is they were trying to play out the same. They were trying to play something out in a literal form, like really murdered a person and hang him on the cross, but it had already taken place and it was all in a spiritual. And that's why people get confused, because you think this is supposed to be played out literally, but it's not. And then once you get to that point, I believe Satan is ready to have people believe that this is what they're getting ready to do. And then kind of like John the Baptist, where because all these people tie in together. All of these people in the Bible are being played out right now, today, this exact moment, throughout the YouTube platform, the world itself. I don't know exactly every one of them or their positions, but I definitely found the family that's in charge, the Rothschild family, the money exchangers, the House of Cain. I mean, I believe I'm going to be knocking on the door of the House of Cain. Literally, I was doing it for the past 5 years on the platform. Now I think it's time to literally go knock on Cain's door, because there is Cain and Abel in this system. Jonathan Kleck reminds me of Abel, and Stephen James reminds me of Cain. There's Baal worship, and then there's the Rothschilds that are in charge of the money, the currency. I could have the positions juxtaposed, but again, it's important to find the actual people themselves, because they'll give it away. Eventually they will give it away. All they got to do is just keep talking. I just need to keep provoking them to talk, and then it's like they want to tell me the truth, but they got to talk in code and I got to decipher it. So a lot of people, I mean, a lot of characters in the Bible are the same. It's the same spirit. It just travels through Old Testament, New Testament, same spirit. Do you think his spirit was to do that, or is he just in a hurry? He's definitely in a hurry because he's just blowing through stop signs. I've even gotten Jezebel and Ahab mixed up because the Jezebel spirit, I mean, I've definitely come across that spirit. There's no question about it. The manipulated, trying to control spirit. Plenty of you YouTube agents have had that spirit and or still do. I just don't really deal with you too much anymore. I go back and show the past because they're the most important videos from back then to show you what really happened in spirit with everybody. Because at that time, everybody was collaborating together. Everybody was coming against me at the same time. If you're wondering, what is it that I'm even doing on YouTube? I don't truly know always. But what I do know is that I sure do get people's attention, and it is not in a good way. But it is, because that's what God needs me to do. He needs me to just get under people's skin by telling them the truth, because the truth hurts and they're lying and hiding it, concealing it. So with Matthew, when he was doing the crucifying reenactment scene that I didn't know about, I was pretty dumb, you know. That wasn't really saying anything about what he was talking about. I don't know scripture like he does, like these Pharisees and Sadducees do. But I've experienced that Jezebel spirit trying to control me through a bunch of people. And I didn't understand back then that it's not just a female thing. It's a male and female thing. And the Jezebel spirit can be in a straight dude. So it's tried to control me for the past 5 years, and it failed miserably. Because in the end, you just can't. You can't. You can try. Satan will wait until an opportune time. I think his time is coming up. And then he'll leave and wait for an opportune time again. They'll always be waiting, lurking class, like lurking. Like the corporation. They'll lurk around the corner waiting for you to just walk by them so they can do their little tactic. Their little act. So some of my most important videos are from the past 4 years ago, proving that things have already taken place. I've already proven it. The things that people are acting as if they're going to get fulfilled in the now had already taken place. It's already over. So for people that think they're going to do some very dirty deeds, it gets stopped. You get cut short. It's like Stephen James over there already told you. He's just letting his group know. No. Jesus Christ already died in the flesh. That already took place. You don't take somebody else and put him in place and try to kill them. Like, well, nope, this is it. But the difference between Jezebel and Ahab is Ahab, at least at some point, it's like he was repenting, and then as soon as there was a ray of light, it's like Jezebel got to him again to influence him, and then turn back, and then just let her, because she was put in place. Like in the YouTube platform, somebody that's very influential in the world and gets quite a few views and at least 1,000 likes each time, because the ones that are liking it, there's 1,000 of his lords. So Jezebel didn't believe in God, never did. But that's the thing about the YouTube platform. People act like they do. They're very kind acting, but you can always still tell the spirit behind the mask, behind the face, through the eyes, through the tone of voice. You can only pretend and fool me so much. Some people can fool me 90% of the time, but there's that 10% that I just know your heart's not right. It's not right. You're in a position, it's not right, and you don't really believe in God because you're still in charge and you haven't seen the writing on the wall.